Going live in about 5 minutes. So yeah, good. Top of the morning to you. Hello. We are live in the house. How's everyone doing? Good. Top of the evening. I've got the air conditioning on, can you believe that? Sweating cobs I am. Sweating cobs. How are we doing? Hope we're not dropping too many frames. Just waiting for people to join in. We have got the microphone on. So, yeah. So far, so good. Lovely. Right. So, basically, we're going to talk about some radio stuff tonight. And I also want to talk about some stuff that I've been watching on the on some YouTube videos that I've seen. So, yeah. Let's see how we get on. I've got some notes here, but I wanted to greetoids, my friend. What I wanted to do today is go through some of the stuff that I bought at the beginning of the week that's arrived. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good, some of it's just wrong. But anyway, what I want to do first, after, because I got some comments about a couple of the videos that you sent me, or that I was sent, mainly about the French bloke. I think his YouTube handle is Radio Prepper. But yeah, I've got a couple of comments on his video that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the video, and I'm gonna leave my 2 penneth at the end if it's worth anything, because I think it was quite typical English ham radio guy making an appearance, which I thought was quite funny and ironic, and I just wanted to point it out and basically give my 2 penneth on why these guys are kind of making it elitist and not very friendly for people that aren't necessarily as knowledgeable, making them feel welcome into the community, so to speak, without getting too political. But anyway, how's everyone been? This is my radio, one of them, my Hytera. Now, what you might have noticed is the TD520. I'll use my little pointer there. The TD520, and it's the Hytera radio. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, or I don't know if you know, but Hytera used to be called HYT. And if you notice, the first 3 letters of Hytera is HYT. Kind of like the Oki and Nokia story. The middle 3 letters of Nokia is OKI, which is Oki, which is what they used to be called back in the day. Just a quick note about those kind of things. In China, usually you get a company, if they use English, they'll use letters. HYT, BYD, the car company, and etc. That's obviously because English is not their first language, and of course they don't know how to say words. So obviously what happened, because HYT got a lot of traction in the business, because they were basically like a cheap version of a Motorola. They basically reverse engineered every Motorola on the planet and created their own version of it, which is as solid. I'm just going to attack this one. Shut up.
10.
Shut up. So I'm going to take the battery out. But as you can see, they're as solid as any Motorola or radio of along those lines. They're solid cast aluminium body, built like tanks, and have the classic lithium-ion clip-on battery, waterproof, shock-proof, and weatherproof, and all-round bouncer-proof. If your name's not down, you're not coming in. So, what happened when they started getting traction about 15 years ago? They wanted to make waves on the international circuit, so of course they started to employ foreigners and marketing guys and all that, and they basically made a name for them so they could actually have a brand name, Hytera. So that's their brand name now. And again, if you look on, they're basically an international company now, and they've decided that rather than rip off Motorola radios, they would actually employ people and invent a whole new system and become players in the game. So anyway, that's the story behind Hytera. So they're probably the best radio brand in China. And then obviously you've got Retevis and things like that. Baofeng, which is basically Mandarin of two Chinese characters, Baofeng. So that's not necessarily a brand name. That's just the English pinyin translation of their Chinese brand. But there actually were a lot of Chinese copies of the HYT brand. There's like HTT, HYG, and all that kind of stuff. So there's actually copies of copies. Anyway, let's just go through what came through the post today. Now, obviously, we were talking about the Retevis antenna and how it was quite good. And I think, wasn't it called the ND771, if I remember rightly? Anyway, this is the one that they sent me, and this is Nagoya NA771. So it's pretty much the same antenna, because I've looked at the picture of the Retevis, and you could probably confirm that because you've probably collected yours by now. It's a nice fluorescent packaging that it's in. I'm just trying to get it out of the packaging. Do excuse me. Oh, come on, you water. Right, here we go. Right, so yeah, it's a nice little whippy antenna. I'll put it in here. So yeah, you can see you've got the 400. I think it's 130 to 470 the bandwidth. It is pretty much the same thing, even up to the bit here where it's got like a slight double wrap halfway up the antenna. That's almost just here. You can see there's a little double wrap there. That's the same as the Retevis one. You've got, again, down the bottom, it's solidly built. So yeah, I think it's going to work. I think it'll work. It's 144 to 430 megahertz, but it'll do 446, I'm guessing. And also, it's got the SMA connection, which is what I wanted to screw, because obviously this one can come off. There, that can come off, and then that screws. This screws in all hunky dory. So I get the cock and balls effect. So yeah, that's the. Is that? I haven't tightened it out. That's a bit loose. That. Anyway. Not overly great, but I think it's okay for a mag mount. I wouldn't use this on the radio, but I would use this on a mag mount. Now, talking of mag mounts, he says, let's put that radio on here. Yeah, this mag mount is funny. So this also came through the post today. Is the little 5 meters of cable which I ordered, and then my little mag mount base with again a 430 megahertz antenna. Now, the thing is with this. Now, this is, first of all, this is the SM. Where are we? Focus, you little what's it. Let me put you down here. Let me put you down here. Right. This connection is what my radio is. So I need the male version of that. So I've actually asked them to send me an antenna. Yeah, there might be a rubber washer in the pack. I don't think there is though. No, there isn't. Again, glue gun, you know, it's for what it cost me. Now, the thing is with this, I found it quite hilarious because this actually will unscrew. Okay, this will actually unscrew, but unfortunately, yeah, I've got a female to female SMA adapter on the way. I'll go through the second lot of order is what I've got. So this one here hasn't got a hole in the top. It's just a straight thread, right? So what they've done is they've obviously joined the coax at the bottom. They've joined it together, and then this is the straight thread going up. Or they've joined the shielding to the metal part, and then the center bit is just going to be this part. Because this whole antenna is a piece of metal that has been cast. It's been lathed. It's solid metal, and it weighs. It's like a mini cosh. It's not plastic. It's actually rock solid. Look. It's actually been. It's just cut. It's just been cut out from the. Yeah. It's been cut out from the lathe. It's got like a thread in it. And it's just a solid piece of metal. It's not even aluminium, it's steel, because it's cheap. Obviously it's cheap. And this antenna weighs almost as much as the mag mount does. Yeah, so it would have been braid to the mount and center to antenna. Unfortunately though, the Nagoya antenna has a well, you know what it's got because it looks exactly like this. It's got that with the little centerpiece and the screw, the SMA female. I guess that's SMA female, and that's SMA male, which is the same as what I've got on the end of the cable. So what I've ordered, which is the same as that, right? That's SMA male as well, right? So what I've ordered is I've ordered a male to male to basically help me go from there to there, right? Now, unfortunately, I don't think I can get the Nagoya on the end of that because it's not got the right connection. It's just literally a threaded nipple. Ooh, misses. So that's something I've got to work out. And again, you know, this is all budget stuff that we're dealing with. Right, so it's not a big deal, right? What I did find was quite cool. Check this out. Check these puppies out. Right, $9.99 or £10 for a half a headphone, proper sized headband with a proper piece of foam and some squidges, and what's it? Omnidirectional microphone. It's got two microphone on this side and this side, so I don't know whether it's noise cancelling, but I'll have to test that. And a decent push to talk button. So yeah, these are definitely. Hello, can I take your order? Would you like fries with that? Somebody will be right down. Thank you. yeah, so those are very good. I like those. They were a good buy. So I've actually ordered another pair of those headphones because they're good quality, and for the price, you could probably get them on Banggood or whatever. I haven't tried. Again, this will probably be used with this. However, this is so damn heavy, it almost is pointless putting it in my luggage because that's like almost the same weight as what the radio is. And also, I'm a bit concerned that if this is on the boot of your car or the top of your car, and it blows off. It's like you can try and see how heavy it is. It's like it's really, really heavy, tough. So yeah, and I guess the magnet might not be. What I could do is I might try and unscrew this, and try and do something with it. Maybe try and add retrofit another SMA. Anyway, so what I did do is I went on to the place where I bought that antenna, and I bought a pair of these, but I don't know if these aren't actually the ones I bought. Is not like the pictures shown, but I bought a hang on, he did send me a picture. They are. So yeah, I bought a pair of those, like female to female inline plugs, so I can basically connect the radio on one end, and then but I'm looking at that, and that's going to connect the radio, but it's not going to connect it's not going to connect that, is it? Because the thread needs to be on the outside, so I need to have one thread on the inside and one thread on the outside. Anyway, I'll see when that comes. That's going to arrive tomorrow, so I'll see when it comes. Because the other options are SMA-K, which are these connections, which again is not what I'm after. So you can kind of get, he does all sorts. So I'll work it out and get what I need to get. They're only like 60p, including delivery. So yeah. What other stuff did I buy? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a look. I bought a couple of these. Again, pre-programmed PMR rads. There's the other angle, and then there's a bit of information similar to the Baofengs. But these are actually these are pre-programmed, 400 to 470 like the Baofengs. These are 12 watts, but I wouldn't believe that. 16 channels. Again, I just told them to program the PMR frequencies in them, and they cost £8 each. So I thought, and you get in the packet, you get this lot in the packet. So I thought, blimey, battery, headphones, clip, charger, proper charger with a 240 thing, not one of those stupid wall warts or USBs. So that's a proper slot in the top charger. £8. So I thought, right, well, I'll program those to PMR. Half of these are programmed to PMR. These ones. So these have got PMR programmed in on channels 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they basically said what I did order. I ordered the Baofeng programmer cable with it for £2 a couple of quid. The cable that is used to program them is the same as the ones that you have, and I'm guessing you can just use Chirp to go into them, or if not, the Baofeng software should work, because these are pretty basic analog 400 to 470. And basically, so what I said to them, he said, well, rather than messing about, you help me program them first. So I just gave them that list of 1 to 16 446 PMR 446 channels and told them to program them in. So they'll be set up for PMR 446 when I get them. And of course I'll be able to use 4 channels of this to communicate with those, because this has 4 channels of PMR analog, 4 channels of PMR digital, and then 8 channels of Chinese radios, so I can talk to the rest of the crew, so I don't have to sub-hire a lot of radios. What I did is the sound and light companies in Shanghai that I use, I asked them to send me a radio, and I went to the shop and they scanned the frequency of that radio, and I just chose 4 channels of that radio and put them, 4 memories if you like. I chose channel 1, channel 2, and channel 15 and channel 16 of the 2 companies. So that way I would be able to at least communicate with their team on at least 4 of their channels, whether it be higher up on the end or lower down. And then the other 4 are PMR digital and PMR analog, because these are digital and analog at the same time. But you have to program you have to tell it everything what to do in the software, which is quite complex. But you can also do your repeater stations and everything else. It just doesn't have a display, so it's all done in the software. But it means that once you hand this radio to somebody to use, you just tell them what frequency you want, and basically
10.
So that also
11, 12, 13, 12.
So that English firmware, I told them to write it in for me, because when I bought them, it was Chinese. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I told them to make it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they just helped me put the USA firmware in it, which is quite good. Again, that's the beauty of going to a shop and asking them to help. They've got like a couple of geeks in the back with computers that are like seriously into that kind of stuff, that know what they're doing. So yeah, they set all the PMR channels for me. They're going to be here tomorrow, so we'll have a go at those tomorrow. I'll also test the headset tomorrow if you're going to be about. If not, then we'll reschedule. It's all good. Maybe do a Sunday or a midweek school session. I'll test the headset as well, because I think that headset's quite good for the money. That was £8, that headset, or no, sorry, £10, £9.99, pretty much £10 with the current exchange rate, which is quite low at the moment. So that was quite good quality. Again, they came in a bag, completely unbranded, no box, nothing. So God knows whether they're a factory or whether it's as quality seconds or whatever. But I've given everything a good going over, and it seems solid enough. Everything's stuck on, the foam's stuck on. That's got to be an at least $29.99 headset. Got to be on it. I mean, it's it's a proper headset with proper foam on it. So God knows how much it would cost, but it's not 10 quid, that's for sure. Can't be. Also, I did find a place that is agreeing to sell me a gas bottle for my fake jet boil. So that's going to be we're going to make a live brew. So that could go one of 2 ways. What could go wrong? So we're going to do a brew, make a brew live on air, using the jet boil and the gas. I mean, God knows what the mic's going to sound like. Right, let's go to this, what I wanted to play, right? So I'm going to play this first. This is from a movie called Castles in the Sky, right? So hopefully the sound of this is loud enough, but Let's have a look at this. My point was that I thought that movie's really good. It's about the guy that invented the guy that invented radar, or discovered radar. Can you invent radar or discovered radar? Anyway, another thing what I wanted to show you was this video about the French guy. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this is because, well, let's just have a listen. Hopefully YouTube will allow me to play this, but let's have a listen.
Yeah, Margate's quite a distance away from where you are. The repeaters that you want to try are the Eastbourne repeater.
So this guy's just,
the Eastbourne repeater,
the French guy's just asking about all the repeaters.
Folkestone.
And also the Dover repeater. So that's Dover, Folkestone and Eastbourne.
Right, so basically he's asking the bloke, if you haven't seen the video, the French bloke who we're looking at now with his Yagi antenna, he's basically shooting over to Dover, and he's basically gone through a repeater, and the guy's giving him a list on the other side, giving him a list of all the other repeaters he could try, because he's not familiar obviously with the southern towns. Now my point was, basically this French guy's also got a radio from World War II that he wanted to try out. So he was very interested in obviously chatting to see how far he could get with his Yagi antenna, and also trying maybe possibly to test this World War II radio that he's got, right? So basically he's found a guy, and the guy's chatting with him and saying, you know, try this one, try that one. Let's have a listen.
And you should be able to get them okay. Trying to get Margate, that's a little bit further away. I think you might have a few difficulties actually getting into that one. I think the call sign's Foxtrot Bravo Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Foxtrot number 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankees, that's correct. Golf 0 Sugar Yankee Queen.
Yeah, that's correct, Mark. Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Correct. And well, I'm going to try to make a few contacts, and maybe I'll try on DMR as well. Maybe I'll try DMR simplex, I'm not sure, but like I said, I really would like to make a 6-meter FM contact on my PRC 351. So if anyone hears me, 51.5 megahertz. Back to you, Mark.
So basically he said that, you know, he's going to try all the DMR, PMRs, da-da-da-da-da, and he's really excited to try his new 57 megahertz radio on da-da-da-da-da-da, right? You just heard it. Now, all good, everyone's all friendly and replying.
Okay, many thanks. Good luck. Enjoy yourself. I can get many of the French repeaters from my location. I'm actually sat on top of the cliff tops overlooking the English Channel there. So many French repeaters coming through. Very strong. So good luck, have fun, and I wish you all the success in your de-egging across this channel this afternoon. Enjoy the weather. Bye-bye for now. G0SYQ.
Right, so all very good, all very positive. Good luck, all the best. Hope you know, wish you all the best. Good luck with your whatever you're doing, and yeah, hope it all works out. All very cool, right? Great, awesome.
7-3.
Thank you very much, Mark. You have a great day as well, and you'll check later on YouTube with my QRZ, and you'll find I'll have a video. I'm making a YouTube video, so have a great day. Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Back to listening now. Over.
Right, so just answered that. Back to listening. All good. Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye for now. Keep listening on here. There's lots of stations will come on. It's quiet at the moment, but I can guarantee you within the next half an hour there'll be quite a lot of stations on here. Bye-bye for now, G0SYQ73. You take care.
Right, so this guy's like really positive, really encouraging. Yeah, stick around. There's going to be loads of things, lots of action. Oh, it's all great, brilliant.
Have a good one.
I think 61 megahertz is outside our legal band plan.
And there it is. Mr. Jobsworth. Thanks very much for that little bit of information, sir. Anyway, let's hear it again.
I think 61 megahertz is outside our legal band plan.
I think 61 megahertz is outside our legal band plan. Yes, we know, but that's not the point, is it? Of course we know the legal bits and bobs, but the fact is, this guy just wanted to try. So instead of coming online without introducing yourself and just stating the facts like you would do in a Facebook comment or a Twitter comment, why not say, maybe it's possible that we would only be able to receive your transmission, but we wouldn't be able to answer you on that frequency because we're not allowed to. But we can answer you on the PMR frequency, but we can receive you on the frequency that you've set just to test it if your equipment works, just for some shits and giggles, right? But no, I don't think that band is in legal.
Say that again?
I don't think our licenses allow us to use 61 megahertz. I'm just confirming that now, but I think 61 megahertz is outside our 6 meter range. I think a quick look, it was 50 megs up to 52 megs-ish.
What do you mean, ish? You either know or you don't. So anyway, he's now going to check the facts to see if his original statement is correct or not. Because he wants to stay within the law. God help anybody that goes outside the law of the two-way radio. Oh no, can't do that. This is what I'm trying to say. These guys destroy the mood. We call them groove assassins. They destroy people's mood. They destroy people's fun and games, if you like. And everybody who's doing it, the guy's built himself a Yagi. His own Yagi. He's not a radio terrorist. He knows he's just having a crack. But anyway, that just destroyed it for me, this video. Because as soon as I heard that bloke, I'm like, oh God, there's always one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I said I meant 51.5 megahertz, 51.5 megahertz. Back to you, Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any 6 meter gear set up either, so other than a 6 meter handheld, would be a long shot.
So now he's saying that he doesn't have any gear that can talk on the 6 meter band. Who cares? We weren't talking directly to you, idiot.
Yeah, probably you'd have to be on the cliffs, I guess, like I am right now on the other side.
Those guys do my nutting.
Anyway, nice to hear you. This is Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. First name Gilles, Golf India Lima. And here again at the Cap Blanc-Nez on the French coast with a handheld and a portable Yagi. And back to listening. Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over.
As a silly question, can you confirm the frequency on 6 meters you're listening to? Did you say 51.50?
That is correct. 51.50 megahertz FM. Over.
Received. Thank you.
Anybody else for Foxtrot for Whiskey?
So anyway, the point of what I was trying to make is that
Bravo Yankee.
no matter how many times you go out and try and talk to somebody or get a connection with somebody, there's always somebody that will come back that will say, oh no, you can't do this, no, that's not right, oh, you can't do that, and all and it just like destroys it. I've seen about 6 or 7 videos where again a guy drives to the top of a hill, does I've never used PMR, so I don't know whether they have a specific channel that everyone calls out on like they used to do on CB, like channel 16, channel 14 back in the day. I think it's channel 8. If I'm wrong, then I'm sorry, but I'm guessing you call out on channel 8 and then you can, anyway. So I've seen a couple of guys go out trying to do range tests on various whips and stuff like that. Yeah, channel 8, that's what I thought. So anyway, he'll go out on top of the van, on top of the hill in his van or in his car with obviously like a small mag mount or just a walkie-talkie or whatever it is. PMR 446, giving a call sign and just letting, is anybody out there, Whiskey Tango, blah, 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 blah. And one bloke will answer and, oh, yeah, it's good to see you. And then this bloke will start talking, oh, well, it's not feeling very good today. And it's quite embarrassing because normally when somebody puts a call out on the radio for a radio check, they don't want a conversation. They just want to know how their signal is. But it seems like the person that needs to be on the radio is the Samaritans half the time, because there's so many lonely old blokes out there that just need a chat. It's quite sad in a way. And then you get the lonely old blokes that need a chat, and then the other blokes are the ones that presume to tell you what you need to be doing in order to get a signal that is better because they think it's better. So they'll have 100 opinions on how to do this and how to do that. And then you say, oh, that sounds good, let's do this then. And then they'll turn around and say, well, actually, I don't actually have that equipment. I heard somebody in the pub tell me that was the best thing to do. So, yeah, I'm just telling you. There's a lot of that. And I'm thinking, oh, my God. This is the problem with the country, I'm telling you. Too many people think they know what they're doing. Anyhow, so my... as I say, I heard that guy, the French guy, he's looking at I've seen a couple of his videos and he's really energetic and he's got a video and he's driving to the edge of the highest point of France, the tip on the highest point, because obviously we all know that height is everything in this game. So yeah, and he's got his Yagi and he's pointing it out. And of course, you've got this fucking idiot who's sitting there. Oh no, you can't. And if you notice, the first thing he said was not hello, not nice to hear you, or not, the first thing he said out of the blue was, I don't think we are able to believe on that frequency. Just to make sure everyone knows that he knows the law of the land. But then when pressed on it, he said, oh, well, I'll have to check because I'm not quite sure. So it's like, shut up then, idiot. Anyhow, that just made me laugh a little bit because I thought, yeah, that's the problem. We're in a global society now, mate. You can't think like that anymore. You've got to think on a global scale. Anyhow, hope everyone's doing well. My desk is dusty. So, a couple of those cars that I had in my list the other day have been sold. Yeah, they've been sold. On the when I asked them to program the PMR frequencies on those new radios, I just told them to put the CTS codes at CTCSS on 67. Just put them all at 67, which is like channel 1 for the squelch codes, because I don't really use them. Because obviously I don't know what the other person's going to be because they've got a match. So the radios that I borrowed from the Sound and Light companies, they had different CTS codes on every channel, so I had to max them up. But these guys had an oscilloscope, and they were able to read the frequency of the CTS code. So they were able to replicate that and program my radio accordingly. I did tell them to post me. I think they only had a cheap. It was only a cheap one. It was an analog. It wasn't digital. It was just analog. For 400 to 470. It was just an analog basic one. Well, I've got that's the thing is I moved a piece of gear, and there was an outline. So I thought, that's a bit of a dust there. The place where I moved my hands is all clean and shiny, but the bit with my gear under it is like a dust line, which is quite annoying because this desk has only been up for like 3 months. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I don't think I'm going to use this Nagoya on my handheld, because the handhelds that I've got at the moment, these Hytera ones, just with the rubber duck, they're fine with range. They've got no problem with range. So I'm going to leave him with that. But I'm looking at the Nagoya to be put on a window mount or I haven't found a window mount, unfortunately. I found one, but it had the Bayonet BNC fittings, and like I said, you can get an adapter, but I'd have to adapt both ends, and then it starts to get. And because they were a Japanese brand. Well, that's what I thought. I wanted the Nagoya to be roof mounted, but like I said, I haven't found a decent mag mount yet with an SME. Because to be honest, the Nagoya is meant for radio. I do have a option to buy a mag mount for the car, but they're not. There to link the radio boxes, so all the connections are different. They're the big ones, the big screwies. What I'd like to do is have this little SMA connector on both ends, so I can just have the Nagoya on a mag mount or a window mount, and then just have the 5 meter cable tucked inside the door and then screwing into the top of the radio. So basically the idea would be is the mag mount would always be there, and then the radio will be brought in and out as when. So it'll be almost like a mobile phone. You bring your mobile phone in and you connect your battery charger to it, right? You connect your Lightning or your USB-C to charge the battery, and then you put it on the holder. Well, this would be the same thing. I'd connect the doodah and then put it on the inside of the door, and either wear the headset in the car or just have the external mic clipped up on the top of the window. Oh God, brain farts. You know what I mean? Visor. There you go. Something like that. But obviously the speaker will still, the sound will still be coming out of the speaker in the door, because that's connected to the radio itself. But the speaker's pretty loud, pretty good quality. So that's a plan. Like I said, these two ways are going to come tomorrow. I'm interested to see what the sound, the speaker and everything's like. To be honest, I don't think they're really Motorola's, if I'm being honest. I think they've just screen printed that on the top. They might even be a Baofeng motherboard inside. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a Baofeng motherboard in a Motorola case. But anyway, they've got an external battery pack, which is good because it means you can swap battery packs out. You don't have to unscrew the thing to get the battery off, which is good, because when they come home, I won't be able to check them in luggage with the battery connected. I've got to put all the batteries in my handle. Now, the funny thing is, when I went through security with my carry-on, I had about 7 batteries in that thing, all over the bag, all over the place, little tiny ones. I had the 2 batteries from your Baofengs in my carry-on, because I'd unscrewed it and then took it out and then screwed it back on and then put them. Jesus Christ. So yeah, and then I obviously had the batteries for my I obviously had the batteries for my charging mobile phone and charging the laptop and all that. The old big blocks, which is like maximum of 110 watt hours, so it's like 2,000 milliamps or whatever. So that's maximum you can take on the plane now. So I had that, and then I had another one because of Sunny. Then I had to give one to her. And then I had all the other little batteries because I thought, well, I hope they don't find all those, because I'm not allowed that many batteries. I was like the blooming bunny, the Duracell bunny, checking on the plane. But anyway, as I say, I'd like to try and work out how to fix that Nagoya to that little mag mount, because that would be a sweet little very discreet mount that I could put above the door or on the boot. And have the cable going down the boot and across into the car. It's 5 meters is long enough. I might have to run it through the back window and then run it down the pillar and across the back seat, something like that. I don't know. 5 meters should be enough. And then basically do it like that, because the piece of metal that's provided is, like I said, it's just a machined piece of steel that's been painted. It weighs a stack. Yeah, send me a pic tomorrow for sure. That would be cool, because I'd like to get this. What I could, I'm just trying to think if I could get a similar lengthed piece of aluminium, and just because whatever screws in the bottom of that mag mount, as long as it's the same length, that should be, that should be it. But obviously the Nagoya has actually got a gain to it, because it's a proper whip. So yeah, I'm just trying to see how it all works. Ah, there we go. That comes off. Okay. Uh-huh. Alright. So I'm just playing with the end of it. It's been... okay. I didn't have it clipped in all the way. Let me try that now. Because they're just pressed together, these things. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's still a bit wobbly, but yeah, because it's the actual outside. It's the outside sleeving that just comes off, but it just literally pulls down and then comes off. But the actual screwing in bit and the actual connection bit is solid. But it's just this outside that's a bit rocky, so it's not very. It's not crucial to the reception, I don't think. I think the main point is this bit that's been crimped on and stuck on, because that's the bit that actually screws into the thing, and then this just helps you unscrew it. So anyway, bit of glue, I think, tiny bit of glue gun in there, that'll be sorted. That won't be an issue. So yeah, as I say, I don't know what the difference in. I'll have to test these with Sunny when she's got a bit of time to. I'll drive down the road and see how far we can get, and I will do a test between the normal aerial, and then I'll unscrew and put this aerial on and see if it makes a difference to the range. It should do. It should make quite a difference, especially if I've got that mag mount. If I've got it outside my window, I do have a little bit of height, but there's a gap opposite our house, or opposite our apartment. There's a gap between the two buildings. So if I aim my antenna there, then I should be able to get right the way through the buildings, the gap between the buildings, and then I've already got like 8 meters of elevation over everybody else, because I'm on the 5th floor, right? So it should be about 10 to 12 meters elevation. Anyway, all good. The next, as I say, the next thing is to find out if those things that he's given me tomorrow are actually, because I've still got a feeling that because that connection on the mag mount is not a proper radio connection, it's just a bolt. There's no middle bit. There's no positive or negative. It's just that whole thing. I'm guessing that whole thing is the positive. So somehow I've got to get that thing connected to the middle thing without touching the outside thing. It's not going to work very well. It's going to work in theory, excuse me, but I think if I put a meter on it, it won't show proper SWR or something. It won't be properly tuned. It will just be a short, which is you might as well just cut a length of coax if you're going to do that. So, like I said, but these little whips are funny. I'll tell you what is funny, because the cat, we've got one of these whips with a piece of string and a mouse on the end of it with a bell. So of course, anytime we wobble the whip, he thinks it's playtime. So when I was watching the YouTube videos of these guys testing all these whips on the screen, he was batting the screen because he thought, oh, there's my thing on the screen. So that was quite funny. Anywho, did you get your turbo sorted out? Did you manage to work out what it was? It wasn't anything major. Did you get the light? Did you get the warning light sorted out? And are you going to invest in a OBD reader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the OBD plug thing with your mobile phone, so you can read the codes, just in case any more lights come on the dash. I've got those, like I said, those that GS300 that was for sale, that went. So I will nearer the time, I will get another one. I'm trying to work out what I'm going to have for Christmas dinner. I've been thinking of Christmas, because we're working out what we're going to do for Christmas. Whether we're going to go to down south to Shenzhen, or whether we're going to have Christmas in Shanghai and just cook the dinner ourselves. That might be an idea, actually. We might just be doing cooking the turkey ourselves in the oven. Anyway, yeah. As soon as I played that Castles in the Sky movie, it's called Castles in the Sky. I think it's on Netflix, but it's Eddie Izzard is the main character, but he plays the guy that invented. Wow, you've got an endoscope. Okay. Right. Okay. So the endoscope is because the endoscope's the camera on the end of the doodah, isn't it? To check if if you've got a hole in there. £10. That's not bad. That's got to be an AliExpress, surely. That's got to be similar to this. That's got to be like basically one of these on the end of a tiny little stick, straight into USB. That was about £10. Yeah, I mean, because if you can actuate it and lube it yourself, if you know what you're looking at. I mean, I'm just more concerned about, can you reset the error codes on the dash? Can you reset that? Because I'm worried that will it go into limp mode if it doesn't see 0 errors kind of thing. Anyway, that's another question. Yeah, so the movie is called Castles in the Sky, and yeah, it's about the guy that invented radar, and he basically helped with the bombings because they were able to catch the planes before they reached Dover, which was good. Oh, okay, that's good. So you have made a friend who's a mechanic. That helps. Definitely helps when you got one of those motors. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, YouTube videos, man. Find out what it is that's stuck, and yeah, a long pair of pliers and a bit of coat hanger, and a long tube with an oil can at the end, and just retrofit a massive lube gun or something, and just yeah, because if that's all it is, a bit of lube, then that should be an easy fix, hopefully. Touch wood. Just don't break anything while you're doing it. But yeah, that should be pretty easy. Again, a lot of these kind of things is you've got to pay somebody to take off all the plastic covers and get to where you need to get to, just so you can give it some oil. So if you go to a mechanic's, that's 200 quid, because that's 2 hours labour, isn't it? Or whatever they charge these days. But I'm guessing a decent mechanic is about 95 an hour, isn't they? It's got to be 95 an hour. I mean, that's just normal mechanic. If you go to the Land Rover dealers, they'll probably want 200 an hour for labour. Anyway, don't know. Well, that's the point. But with the lights, the trick is to be able to turn them off when you can, not just turn them on. But yeah, I know what you mean. I saw a YouTube video the other day about it's called TFL. TFL guys in it's another father and son group in Colorado, America. They're always buying Teslas and what have you. Anyway, they've got a Tesla Model Y at the moment, and they've got a fault on the door because it won't open. The back door, it's one of those actuator doors. It's not a physical connection to the door. It's like you open the door handle, and it just activates a switch, which activates a servo, which opens the door, but it doesn't do anything, and it's locked. You can't open it. So anyway, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, just take the lead out, yeah. But anyway, they bought a Discovery, new model, brand new, but they bought the cheapest one they could get. So they bought the bottom of the range one with the Steelies, white Steely wheels, and no frills inside. It's still a good car. It still looked really good. It cost, I don't know how much it was, like $30,000 or something, but you can get them up to $70,000 if you get the HSE model. But anyway, they got the cheapy one, and they went to take it off-roading, and they took it very mildly off-road and drove it home, and it was all good. And then literally the next day, they had an engine warning light on. Brand new car. It's done 300 miles. So I'm waiting to see the next video on what was wrong with it, because it went into limp mode, and that's the problem. If you get the engine lights on, it goes into limp mode, and you're just like you can't do anything. You've got to reset the software. It's a nightmare. But yeah, once these OBD plugs start to get more popular, a lot of these apps are going to have. I mean, a lot of them now, you can buy the OBD plug, and you can have like all the information on your dash on an iPad. You can have all the oil pressure, the temperature gauges, and all that stuff. Oh, you saw that video? Yeah, that was funny. So I thought, I can't remember what I've sent you. I send you a lot of videos these days. I can't remember what I send you. I think the last one I sent you was the 5-star 5-Star Audio, the car stereo installers. These guys, man, honestly, their wiring is just unbelievable. Absolutely first class. Their installs. I don't know how much they charge, but it's not even his shop. So the guy will sell them the gear, and then they'll just install it. But the installs they do is just, it's got to be worth half the system, the cost of the system, because the amount of cable they use and the proper sleeving and the soldering the crimps and Tessa tape and all the black stuff that they bolt the amplifiers to and how they route the cables around. My God, it's like artwork. It's brilliant. I haven't seen any audio install. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone better than those guys on the channel. Nobody. They are the best. Absolutely phenomenal. So that's what I said. Anyone that does cabling that doesn't do cabling as good as those guys, then it's like, yeah. So I don't understand what it is. I'm looking at the breaking news, right? Obviously, you're not going to be able to tell me because you probably can't answer the question in by text. But it says that Lancashire has agreed a deal to enter Tier 3, the highest COVID restrictions. I understand about the 3 tiers recently being, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, regarding the lockdowns and meeting friends and family and all that stuff and staying indoors. But what I don't understand is that well, I tell you, it's car audio in a decent new car is just amazing, and the speakers they use out of the factory compared to the stuff that you can buy aftermarket, it's just a joke. Because you'll see these guys and they'll be doing an audio install, and they'll be doing a head unit replacement and a speaker replacement and an amp install. Some of them will just have basic stuff, like they won't change the head unit, but they want amp and speakers, or they want the speakers replaced in an amp. And then some of them will just go full out, balls to the wall, and they'll want a sub, and they want all this, right? Yeah, so what my point was, different areas have different levels of lockdown. Yeah, I understand that. But my question is, when they say Manchester is fighting against the decision to put them on level 3, they're fighting against that decision, and then it's just come through now that Lancashire have agreed to go to level 3. Now, what my point is that I thought the government basically told everyone what to do, or is it a case that the government will just advise the local councils, and then the local councils decide what they've got to do? I don't know how it works. Is it like, because America, it's not a federal. You've got federal government, and then you've got local state government, and some of the states have their own rules. Like California will have different rules than Texas, and Texas will have different rules than Florida, and Florida, and that's why it's such a fucking mess, because everyone, nobody has a central rules. But anyway, it just makes me a little bit weird, because I mean, if you're living in Yorkshire and you've got Tier 1, but then Lancashire's got Tier 3, I don't know what the deal is between. Seems a bit. It seems very confusing. Seems very like, what do I need to do? Do I need to wear a mask or not? Can I go here or can't I? And then, can I meet you in the garden but not in your house? And there has to be less than 6 people. We can stay in the bar if we're having a meal, but not just a drink. But we can have a drink with the meal. Just seems a bit bizarre, because it's like, how does having a meal in a bar stop you from getting COVID, as if you're going to the bar without the meal but just still being in the bar for the same length of time as it takes you to have a meal? It just doesn't make sense. You either go out or you don't. You either fix it or you don't, because it seems a bit, they're kind of trying to keep everything open and make money, and then it's like, oh shit, this is not working, we've got to close it again, and it seems a bit weird. Anyway, well, that's what I thought. You know, I mean, I don't know if we had this conversation before, but, you know, like I say, I don't say one side is better than the other side or whatever. You know, I don't care about. I just look at it from a, you know, just from what I can see and interpret from what I'm seeing. There was 11 cases, or I think 12 cases, between 11 and 15. I haven't got the exact numbers with me, but between 11 and 15 cases of COVID found in a hospital in Qingdao, right, in northern China, where the beer's made. And that case, those cases, breakout cases, the local government, and I'm guessing the national government, decided they're going to test the whole city. Not lock it down, just test everybody. Biting my nails. And that was a note to say that somebody's Twitch streaming. But it's not me. So again, they were going to test the whole city, right? Not lock everyone down. They in Wuhan, when it broke out, they locked it all down, because it was, they didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was all the shit was hitting the fan, and they were like, fuck it, no one go out, and they just locked the whole place down. And then soon they locked Shanghai down, they locked everyone else down, so that the streets were empty for about 3 weeks, right? The people in Wuhan couldn't even leave their apartment. They were locked down, seriously locked down. Anyway, so they decided to test the whole city. So far, they've tested 5 million people. So by the end of the week, by Sunday, they would have done everybody, right? Now, that's for 12 cases in a hospital. And if you compare that to the White House in America, so-called the leader of the free world, he's infected 26 people in his own White House. 26. And he's like, yeah, whatever, it's all good, no worries. Now, I understand that maybe the people are saying, well, fuck it, you know, I need to get it. If I get it, I get it. You can't lock the country down because we're just going to die of bankruptcy, which is fair enough. But I think that trying to kid yourself and say, well, we'll have a lockdown, but we won't test anybody, and we won't trace anybody, and we won't have any infrastructure in place to, if people have got it, what they can do and who they can call and how they can protect themselves, and if they can get the PPE, and if they can, where do they get it, and all that kind of stuff. There's none of that, right? And you see people wearing scarves and wearing bits and bobs around their face. Some of it is more becoming like a fashion statement now. People are starting to print their logos on masks now, and it's all very much a case of, oh, this is my mask, and, you know, stay calm, be real, and all that kind of, you know, painting little lips on it and all that kind of stuff. Like, all good. Doesn't really affect, again, doesn't, you know, because it's not a HEPA filter, it's not an N95 mask, it's not made out of proper material, so it doesn't really do much good. However, if you cough, it keeps your cough inside your mouth, so that's fair enough. You're not literally coughing on somebody else, which is more protecting other people than yourself, so you know, that's all good. I'm all for wearing masks, that's brilliant. I'm all for washing your hands as well, but it doesn't work unless everyone's doing it, and that's my biggest problem. Is the borders are open, whether it be people coming over in an airport or in a dinghy, the borders are open. There's no mandatory quarantine, or if there is, yeah, there is quarantine, but there's no kind of go down this corridor with people in hazmat suits onto a bus where the driver's in a hazmat suit with a plastic shield around him, and then you drive to a hotel where there's more people with hazmat suits that give you a test and then put you in your room and you stay there for 14 days. That's quarantine. And that's whether you've been on a plane with somebody that's tested positive or without. That's just quarantine. Now, I think if there isn't anybody that tests positive on the plane, your quarantine then becomes 7 days in the hotel and 7 days at home. If there is somebody that tests positive on the plane that you're on and you've landed, then you're tested 3 times a month. You know, during that 2 weeks, you're tested 3 times. And if they basically put you in a box so until you're free. Some pubs only take one number from the... Okay, so you're talking about the track and trace kind of debacle nonsense. Yeah, my mum got a text the other day to say, please download this app. And she called me up all panicky. And I said, look, you don't need it because you don't go anywhere. So, you know, that's the point. Now, we have WeChat here. And we all have smartphones, and our IDs are linked to our telephone number. I had to, on Synology, the company that makes my server, my little server thing, they sent me an email the other day to say, please register your phone number or your Quick Connect account will be closed. Basically, Synology have this kind of Quick Connect account which allows you to type in Dawnstage to your Synology server, and then it's basically how you were able to watch movies from my house, right, in your house, is because the gateway, the firewall, if you like, is open to allow your computer to connect to my computer, and you can watch movies, right? Now, obviously, anything in here to do with internet or anything else is controlled by the government, right? So that's why I have an iPhone, because iCloud in China is controlled by a Chinese company, but it works. Google doesn't work here. So it's pointless me having an Android because Google doesn't work. Google Maps doesn't work. Google Email doesn't work. So my phone would be pointless. So, but at least with an iPhone, my iCloud works, my Apple Maps work, Google Translate works. They've turned that on, but the rest of the Google doesn't work. Anyway, it's because Google is not controlled by a Chinese company. So that's a deal that Apple made with the government to say, if you want to sell iPhones in China that have full functionality, you need to have certain parts of the system regulated and controlled by us, because we need to be able to monitor, you know, we need to be in control of the network, who's online, who's doing what, and where they're doing it from, and what's their IP address and who they are. And it's all very much like that. If I was live streaming on Bilibili, which is the Chinese version of YouTube, I need to register my ID card. So in other words, if I say something like F this, F that, and whatever, they can knock on my door and say, excuse me, don't do that. So that was, you know, actually that's what happened to that doctor in February, the one that died of COVID, the so-called whistleblower. You know, he basically broke the law by publishing propaganda and whatever materials on the internet without clearing it first. So that was why he got arrested and was told to shut up. And even though what he was saying was true, the fact that he didn't use the correct channels to do it. Now, I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. I'm just saying what it is. So the fact is, you can do everything you want. I'm having to use VPN at the moment to talk to you. And if they wanted to stop this VPN, they can. Because I've had it where during the big conferences or something that, you know, where the government's having meetings or political sensitive times, they've stopped. You can't get on the VPN. The VPN doesn't work. It's just completely blocked. It's just, you know, and you bet your bottom dollar that's because there's something sensitive going on. And then 2 days later, it's all back to normal again. So, you know, half the government here have got Facebook pages. But again, that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying, back to this track and trace thing, is that they try to put in this thing where you put in your telephone number and it's like people can contact you if there's something, you know, if there's a breakout in the pub, and everyone in the pub can be contacted. Now, that doesn't work. We know it doesn't work because that's the kind of thing we used to do 15 years ago. We've had mobile phones for quite a long time, right? What does work is the QR code concept. Now, what we have to do, what I have to do, is if I go into a building in town and it's a sensitive building, or if it's a public, not metro station. A metro station, I just have my temperature taken. But if it's like a government building or something like that, police station, whatever, I have to show my QR code. And I don't have to show it at the entrance of the building. I have to show it at the entrance of the gate, where the car park is, where the blimmin', you know, where the barriers are to get in to the place, because that's where the security guard stands. So he will say, you know, he'll check your QR code to see if you're green. I'll show you now. I'll show exactly what it is, right? It'll be funny if I do it now and it turns up red, wouldn't it? That'll be a laugh. Right, so I go on. I've got options to do it, right? So let's just show you here, right? So this is my Alipay, right? So this is basically PayPal, run by the bloke who owns Alibaba, right? Alipay. So if I go here, I go to the health code, right? So this is, it's like an app within an app, right? This is because each of these apps are linked to my name, because, you know, I have to have a bank account to use it. So hopefully, if this works, there you go. So that QR code means that I'm safe. So that QR code can be scanned. That has my full name, all my details, and also it will show people where I've been, because my phone has GPS. Right? WeChat also, if I can find it, I think WeChat also has the option to have it. Now, obviously, my WeChat will be a lot more functionality. I think it's in mini programs. This is the thing that Apple have just introduced, and we've had it for years. It's where an app can have a mini app inside your chat app. Like this is Aldi. So this is their mini app. So I can actually buy stuff and shop on Aldi without actually going to the Aldi app, because it's a mini app inside my phone, inside the WeChat. Anyway, so that's the QR code, and because your phone, as I say, this system was put out in February, right? When it, you know, as soon as the thing is, here we all have WeChat, we all have Alipay, because that's how we pay. We have electric. We don't use cash, very rarely. So, if I just for shits and giggles, So if I basically open my money, right? So this is my so this is basically if I can't really show that online because it'll yeah, I'll cut this out anyway. I'll just do it like that. So basically, this is my QR code, right? And if you scan that, then I can pay you with my money from my wallet because that's my code, right? So if you say to me, now if I press this one, receive money, so that's my QR code, and I can type in an amount, and I just let you scan this, and then you pay me whatever I've set in. So it's, you know, it's you know, it's digital money. You've got the same, I'm sure, right? So the problem is everyone's already had these apps. These apps use geotagging, right? So they're connected to GPS. So basically, all they needed to do is make a little mini app to basically say, right, anybody that's using WeChat or Alipay, we put a little health thing in there, and you just press that button and then display your code. And if you've been into an area of high risk or whatever, your code will turn yellow or red. And if it's red, they won't let you in. So they won't arrest you, but the point is they'll stop you from going into the premises and becoming a so-called super spreader or something along those lines. And it just keeps people away from infected people. And another option is, and again, these aren't enforced because at the moment it seems like, you know, we haven't got a massive outbreak. When you go into a metro station, first of all, you have to wear a mask. Now, I got stopped the other day on the way back from my visit to the picking up my card, because I literally had 2 bags in my hand and my mask was in my pocket and I forgot to put it on. So I walked through the thing and the bloke went, and I went, what? Oh shit. And I forgot to, you know, and as soon as I put it on, he let me through. So, you know, they are enforcing that. Nobody goes into the metro without a mask on. Now, can you imagine Oxford Circus or every single metro station having an X-ray machine for a bag, and also a couple of security guards stopping everybody going into the subway station. At the entrance of the subway station, there's an X-ray machine and 4 security guards. Now, they have that at the entrance of every metro station in every city, in every town, right? Now, why can't you do that in England? How many jobs would that create? How many, you know, but you can't do that because that affects people's free what's, you know, oh no, I can't do that because you do it when you go through security for an airplane. You do, you know, and it's basically, you can say no one without a mask beyond this point. What's to stop people to stand outside the bar, the 2 bouncers standing outside the gates of the Hoppers and saying anybody that wants to come in needs to put a mask on? What are they going to do? Are they going to say no? If they say no, then you don't get in. What's the difference between that and if your name's not down, you're not coming in? What's the difference between that and you know, what they're going to go call the cops and say, oh, this guy's not letting me in his car. It's a private premises. The guy can do what he wants. But anyway. Again, it's just English arrogance. There's nothing more. It's not anything else apart from English pig-headedness, arrogance. It's I'm better than anybody else. I don't need to wear it because. No problem. You don't need to wear them. You can stay at home. You don't need to wear them. But if you want to go into Marks and Spencer's, put a mask on. If you want to go into Halfords, put a mask on. That's it. But there's a security guard at the door enforcing that rule. And that's all it needs to be done. I used to work as a security guard in Tesco's. And at Sunday at 3 o'clock, we used to close at Sunday at 3 o'clock. Or it was either 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I can't remember. But anyway, people used to come in at 5 or 4:30 because they presumed that Tesco's was open 24 hours. And it is, and it was, but on Sunday from 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock it closes until the next day. So of course it was I think it was 4:45, right? 4:55. And the bloke's like, you know, there was one bloke come in and I saw him walking up he was right at the end of the car park where the car wash is now. He was right at the end there. And he was walking up, and I saw him walking up, and it was 5 o'clock, and it was lit. By the time we got to the gate, it was 4 minutes past 5, right? And I said, sorry, we're closed. And he's like, oh, I just wanted it. I said, sorry, we're closed. And he tried to push past me, and I just put my arm out. And I said, sorry, we're closed, because that's my job. I had to tell him, 5 o'clock, we're closed. And of course, he was, and he walked off. But the fact is, that was the rules, and we enforced it. And I just don't understand the point of the situation is that, people said if you wear masks, it doesn't stop it. If you wear masks, it doesn't stop. No, it doesn't. But it helps, and it helps other people more than it helps yourself. It's to stop you spitting or sneezing or coughing on somebody else. And it also helps with the fact that if you've got a mask on, you can't touch your face as much. Because, if you've got it on your hands and you rub your face, then, I'm sorry, but that's how you catch a cold. And that's what fucking coronavirus is, pretty much. In other words, it's a virus, it's like a cold, but yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of, it's just, I don't know, it's just me getting old and just being a little bit weird. But the thing is, I live here, right? And I'm not oppressed. I'm not told what to do. I've got more freedom than probably most people, because it's like, as long as I don't disrupt the social harmony, you can do what you fucking want. Don't disrupt the social harmony. That's why they say in the metro station, in the metro, everybody wears a mask. Why? Because there's all classes of people wear masks. There's all classes, there's all different ages. There's school kids, there's fucking aunties and uncles, there's peasants, there's all sorts of people that ride the metro. And rather than saying the people with common sense don't need to wear masks, they've enforced the rules to say that everybody has to wear it. And everyone sits there quite happily with the mask on. Admittedly, some guys wear it under their chin, the famous under the chin mask wearing brigade, because they're, they've done the mask for this thing and they've taken it off. But you just don't sit next to those people, so it's all good. And you find those in any culture. It's not just here. It's that, or you get people wearing them for fashion, so they'll just wear it over their mouth or something like that. It's the classic. But anyway, so as I say, my point was it's just it's silly. If you don't enforce it, it's silly. Not hey Siri, I said it's silly. So we've been on the channel for about an hour and a half now. So yeah. Anyway, I've lost my viewers. Like I said, I don't know how it all works over there, but it seems a bit archaic. Right, so living with a Honda E. Right, so I'm going to call it a day tonight. I'm going to watch a movie, and yeah, so that's enough of me ranting and raving. So yeah, I shall see you yeah, so we are gonna do it tomorrow. A little bit less of the political aramas stuff. We're gonna do some geeky stuff tomorrow, some fun stuff tomorrow. But yeah, just at the end of the day, you got to use your common sense. Keep yourself safe. Don't be a danger to yourself or to other people, and yeah, treat others how you would expect them to treat you, and you'll be safe. Anyway, I'm gonna say goodbye and good luck. Bye.